Okay, I think we are live. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على الأشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا نبينا وقرة أعيننا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم اللهم إني أسألك العلم النافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا. We are live on our weekly breakfast meeting. Alhamdulillah. I have not been here a little while, so I'm looking forward to having a good catch up, inshallah. It's been a few weeks, and I apologize about that. August was a very busy month with lots of family stuff going on, holidays and whatnot. September was incredibly busy, and it's already October now. Subhanallah, October, mid-October already. Before you know it, 2024 will be finished, and then we start with 2025. Subhanallah, crazy. I remember when we transitioned from 1999 to 2000, and that's a quarter of a century ago now. Allahu Akbar. Right. I am here for the next hour or so to answer any questions that you have about business, about money, anything to help you, inshallah, grow your wealth in a halal way. We are currently live on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn, and Facebook, mashallah, and Facebook as well. So I'm keeping an eye out on all of the different screens in front of me to see where the questions are at. Okay, let's have a look at Clyde is saying on TikTok, I need mentorship, please. Can reach out. I don't really do any direct mentorship, but we have the groups and programs. If anyone is interested, you can look into that. If you DM me, my team will send you more information based on what's relevant for you. Dean Boost on Instagram is asking, what do you think about Islamic loans for business? Well, if the loan is definitely Islamic and it is definitely Sharia compliant, and there's a reputable scholar who's put the stamp on it, then I don't see anything wrong with it. Of course, you want to make sure that you genuinely need the loan and you're not just taking the loan for the sake of having a little bit of extra money to blow on ads or something like that. If you take money from a loan, you want to make sure it's for a good purpose and it's going to have a good impact in your business. Okay, here we got someone asking, what is the best way to invest 100 to 200,000? Now, you'll hear me say this often, and it's because it's true. The answer is it depends. It depends. Is this the only? Firstly, it depends on what your objective is. Is your objective to invest this capital and get some monthly income? Or is your objective to invest this capital and ideally grow it as much as possible so you can maybe buy yourself a property in cash for you to live in five years from now? Is the objective just to keep the money working because you don't want to keep it in the bank because it's losing value against inflation? It really depends on your goals. If you give me 100,000, meaning if I had 100,000, I would put it all into content creation. That's the best return that I will ever get. I wouldn't put it in stock or crypto, any of this stuff, because the best return for me, for my objectives right now, and I'm putting 6 figures a year in content. I have a team of about 6 people. That's a lot of salaries. There's a lot of people to pay, people designing my thumbnails, editing the videos, shooting the videos, managing all of the moving parts. So it's it doesn't make sense to just ask what's the best investment for 100K. First, you have to tell me what is your objective. Because if you're in your 60s and you've got 100K, or in your 16 years old and you got 100K, the answer of how to best invest there will be very, very, very different. Very, very different. So be a bit specific, inshallah, so I can give you the best possible answer, okay? So you're saying cash flow, good passive income, maybe capital appreciation. So for recurring income, there's not many things that are better than rental income. So if you have 100 to 200K, you can put it in property without any riba, without any loans. You can buy a house for 150K somewhere in the Midlands, maybe in Liverpool, maybe, I don't know, anywhere. You can even probably get a nice flat facing the sea somewhere in the south for 150K, and you can just put that on rent, and you'll make 600, 800 pounds a month. Fantastic. That's it. If that's your goal, then I can't think of anything better than property. But if your goal was, look, I've got 200,000, or what, I've got 150,000 right now, and I want to grow this so I can buy myself and my family a property in 5 years from now, and I needed to grow to at least 500,000, then the strategy will be very, very different. Then you need to find ways of flipping this money and making as many flips, profitable flips as possible. You could flip stocks, you could flip property, you need to flip whatever you understand best and wherever you can secure yourself some profits. So if I wanted to turn 100K into 500, I would do a mix of things. A big chunk of it would definitely be charity, because charity is the only guaranteed return, guaranteed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, that he will multiply. Whatever you give for his sake, he will multiply. So to get the best returns in this world right now, there's two C's. One C is charity, the other C is crypto. Okay, that's where you can get 5x, 10x, 20x, 100x returns. But with crypto, there's ridiculous risk. With charity, guaranteed return. Alhamdulillah, guaranteed return. How do you get a halal bridging loan? I am aware of only one company in the UK who is providing halal bridging loans, and they are called Precept Finance. Precept Finance. Look them up. I know the team. I know the legit people. I know the good people. And they're more of a broker. So what they do, they will basically liaise on your behalf with Sharia compliant lenders. How many properties do you have, brother? You're asking me on TikTok, so I will show you right here. I'm going to show you something. These are my HMOs, alhamdulillah. And we have 200 more keys in the room next door, which are normal residential properties. But the beauty is, we don't own a single one of these properties, but we make an income from every single one, alhamdulillah. And that is how, when you say no to riba, Allah will open other doors. When you say no to riba, Allah will open many other doors. Okay, fantastic. So let me have a look. What we got going on Instagram. Can you speak about how you have scaled up your property maintenance team? That's been a difficult. We've been very, very, very lucky where we have found a senior person who is able to do all types of maintenance and has access to workers. We are now in a position where, as the portfolio grows, we need more hands on the ground, and we're finding it difficult. We're considering options. Obviously, you try and hire people in the market, you ask around. In the future, we may consider options of maybe bringing someone from abroad, someone with existing skills, who is going to be skilled, honest, dedicated, hardworking, and we can provide him with a good, good income and a good life, new life here in the UK. That is something that we are considering, but we haven't cracked it just yet. So I'm not going to say too much because we haven't quite cracked it just yet. Brother Muhammad Bilal Shabir, thank you so much. You're saying keep up the good work. I really appreciate it. How do you get startup capital for a new business? So if the new business idea and concept is good, it has been proven through some kind of beta testing, some kind of MVP, and you can show the potential, finding the money is not going to be difficult. If you have a really good business opportunity and you yourself are an investable person, you're an honest person, hardworking, with a track record of getting things done, of achieving things, finding the money is not that difficult. You can start by asking people in your network, and then you slowly move out to people, for example, like myself, who may know investors, who may know people who are keen on investing in something new, who may know many other high net worth individuals. So finding the money is not hard. What's hard is finding a solid business idea and being able to prove that it will work. You have to be able to prove that it works. For example, I'll give you an example right now. Let's say you want to start a burger shop and you need 150,000 to start your burger shop. You've done all of the work. You've designed the brand, you've designed the menu, you found the location, you've done all of this, and now you're going to investors asking them for 150,000. You won't get a single penny, because there's been no track record of customers actually liking your product and enjoying your product. So what should happen instead is investing 6 months making burgers in your kitchen and selling them at events, selling them at stalls, selling them online. You can do Uber Eats from your home. You can I know people who do Uber Eats from their home, from their home kitchen. Once you've got 6 months to 12 months of track record of people saying we love your burgers, then you can go to an investor and say, you know what, look what I've built from my kitchen. I've got 4,000 orders this year, 5-star reviews. I'm ready to scale up. I found a shop. I've negotiated the lease. I need 150K, and this is what you get in return. That's it. The investor will just hand over the money. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference between someone who's just going with an idea and someone who's going with the proven track record that, I want to sell burgers, and by the way, I've sold 4,000 of these from my kitchen. I know this is going to be a success. Does that make sense? So that is how you get money from investors. You have to prove that whatever you want to sell, whatever you want to provide, that there is a demand and people have paid for it. When you go with just a vague idea without any testing or any proof, is very hard for someone to part with their money on just a gut instinct. They want to see some actual proof. MashaAllah. Dr. Nasser Ghanem is joining us from Al Azhar University in Cairo. May Allah bless you and increase you in khair. Okay, mashallah. Brother Sade added on YouTube, my startup in France, my startup is in France, and every investor in VC at some point brings riba. Do you know of any startup investors network that are fully halal? My technology is 2024 French Tech Laureate, mashallah, Allah Mubarak. I would suggest you get in touch with Islamic Finance Guru and Curate Capital. Also, I would suggest that you um, negotiate with the VCs in France to amend the bits where they are introducing the riba. Maybe they may be willing. If your startup is really that good, they'll listen to what you tell them. In terms of completely halal start investing, you want to look at probably accelerators or VCs in the Middle East. In the Middle East, there's a lot of investment happening in Saudi and in Dubai and in UAE in general. In the UK, you can look at Islamic Finance Guru and Curate Capital. They do a lot of startup investing, mashallah. Brother Abdul Basit on YouTube. I attended your lecture yesterday and found it very beneficial. Alhamdulillah. I'm very happy to hear that. I wanted to know if you will provide any mentorship programs or completely it will be finished. I'm not sure. Um, what I presented yesterday was the last and final presentation and the last intake of people into my mentorship program. So if you attended the full thing, you will have till the end, you will know exactly what to do and how to get in touch. If you miss the end, then obviously you won't know, and you can email my team and then they can explain further, inshallah. Are you FCA regulated to give investment advice? I am not FCA regulated, and the investment advice I'm giving is not in specific products, it's generic. The advice I gave today is invest in charity. I'm sure the FCA doesn't have a problem with me telling my audience that you should invest in charity, that maybe property is a better investment compared to crypto and these generic things. I am not promoting or mentioning any specific products of any kind. So I'm having a look at YouTube now, and Instagram is popping, TikTok is popping. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Someone on YouTube is saying, I am planning to open a tuition center, planning to find proper teachers to teach. The center is small and near several masjid and madrasas. This is exactly what I did in 2017. I opened a tuition center very close to a massive madrasa, and I pitched to all of the parents who were bringing the kids to the madrasa every single weekend and every single evening. There were two batches, and I said to them that if they needed help with maths, English, and science, that we had a center within walking distance, and that the sessions were designed and synchronized with the madrasa timings. And subhanallah, that was an absolute stroke of genius, because all of those parents needed the classes, but they were struggling because they had to take the kids to madrasa, then travel somewhere else to take them to the maths, and then somewhere else for English, and then somewhere else for science. And now we provided a solution which is super convenient. And we just did maybe 2 weeks of marketing, and then the rest was a brrr. So that's very, very smart, mashallah. I encourage you to go ahead with it, and make lots of dua for success. In terms of the difficult part will be finding good teachers and keeping the good teachers. And in terms of finding the students, you should basically leaflet outside the madrasa and let all of the parents know that we have a tuition center very, very close to here. The sessions are going to be synchronized, meaning if your child finishes madrasa at 4 o'clock, you can bring them to our center for a lesson at 4:15 or at 4:30. We even offered a pick up and drop off service. If the parents wanted to drop the kids off at madrasa and they didn't want to come back to then take them from madrasa and bring them to the center, We said, we'll pick them up for you. Just sign a few forms to give us permission to pick them up. And then we used to pick up the kids from the madrasa, cross the road with them, and bring him into our center. And subhanallah, obviously there's no one doing this, right? So we did really, really, really well, mashallah. Saad Arshad on YouTube. Is it possible to do work experience with Sequoia Homes? The answer is yes, but because we get a lot of young people reaching out, and I do have someone in the office doing work experience pretty much every week of the year, alhamdulillah. We always try to give that opportunity, but because there's so many people inquiring, do get in touch, and we want to know a little bit more about you and to see where, how, and when it might make sense to arrange some work experience, inshallah. So DM me on Instagram, inshallah. Right, let's come to Instagram now. I have fallen behind on Instagram. There's a lot of messages coming through here. Sister Sabia is asking, is it better to keep generational gold or to buy a property with it? Again, the answer is it really depends. It depends on what your goal is. What is your objective? If you have a huge amount of gold, this gold will hold value and increase in value over time and can be a security for you and your family. But if you're looking for some income to come from this wealth that you have, then it may make sense to take some of the gold, sell it, and buy property with it so you can start earning a monthly income from it. So it really depends. If you need the income, if you would rather not have the headache of uh, having to manage a property, and you would rather keep the gold where it is and let it stay there and increase in value over time for you and your future generations. It really depends on your needs. Okay, mashallah. Brother Umair on Instagram. I have just got a job abroad and will be leaving the UK. I don't want to sell my house. What do you think is the best thing to do with my house? Give it to an agent to manage, HMO, Airbnb? Subhanallah, this is a question I get from my friends. Quite a lot of my friends have gotten jobs abroad, have bought houses in recent years, and they're now thinking, what do I do? And it's a difficult situation because this is their home. This is, they invested so much in getting this home. They saved for so many years. Maybe they've put a lot of money in making it look nice as well. They don't just want to give it to someone who's going to trash it. They want to give it to someone who's going to look after it. So straight away, I would say don't do Airbnb, because with Airbnb you will have lots of strange people coming in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. There will be a lot of wear and tear. So I would never do Airbnb with my own home if I was abroad. Your other option is to give it to an agent to manage, and whether they put in a family or do HMO, it won't make a difference for as long as the quality of the tenants is good. The quality of the tenants is good. Because we manage HMOs, and we have had the situation, exact situation, where landlord needs to go abroad. His house was a beautiful 7-bedroom palace. And we explained to him that, look, if you give it to us, we'll look after it. We'll put all new furniture, so you can keep your furniture in storage somewhere safe. We'll put our own furniture in here. We'll bring in high caliber, full-time working professionals. They're just going to come home, eat dinner, sleep, and then go to work again, which is better than having a family. With the family, there's kids, there's children, there's cats, there's dogs, there's all sorts of things that can happen. And there's more usage usually. The boiler will be used a lot more, the water will be used a lot more, the plumbing will be used a lot more, because people are at home more than in a HMO full of professionals. When the professionals literally, and you know the life, they're at work the whole day, they come home in the evening, eat something, watch Netflix, go to sleep, wake up, out again. And in the weekends, because they're working so hard, in the weekends, one day they'll just rest and lounge around and do maybe a little bit of grocery shopping, and another day they'll go out with their friends and go see family. So HMO is a good option only if you have quality people in your property. So depending on the location of your property, we may be able to help. But the key advice for you, my brother, is whoever you give it to, you need to make sure they give it to high quality tenants. Tenants who are going to be clean, respectful, and take care of your home. That's the most important thing. And that could be depends on, I'm assuming it's your house. It's probably like a three bed house, perfect for a family. Now, if the family doesn't have any small children, let's say it's mom, dad, and two teenagers, you might be all right. They might not trash your house. And it's not nice to assume that all tenants are always going to trash your house. That's not true. I'm renting now. I'm not trashing the house. I'm looking after it. My mom's house is rented. We've made it much better than when the landlord gave it to us 12 years ago. Do you understand? So you shouldn't assume that all tenants are going to trash it. But you should be very, very, very careful who you give the property to. Okay, I'm scrolling through messages on Instagram now. Mashallah. How did you begin your entrepreneurship journey? If you're genuinely interested, you can watch one of the many podcast episodes that I've done, because there you can hear it in detail. Right now, I'm trying to answer as many questions as possible. I won't be able to tell you the full story properly. So if you're genuinely interested in my story and how I began and where it began, there's many, many, many podcast episodes online where I've been interviewed about my journey, and I shared literally from the beginning until where I'm at now, where Allah has blessed me to, and where Allah has taken me, because everything is from Him. Right, I'm just scrolling through, see someone on Instagram, Zayi Timi. Jazakallah khair for all the time you share with us. You're most welcome. May Allah bless you too. What is better, to be a landlord or to aspire to become managing the property the way you do? Great question. So it is always better to own the asset, but it's very hard to begin like that. I come from a working class family. We don't have a few £1,000,000 to spend, and I'm not willing to get haram mortgages and do buy to lets to build my portfolio. What I can do instead is build a cash flow business without needing to own, without needing to pay any deposits, needing to take any finance. I can still earn rental income without the need to own the property. But eventually my goal is to make enough money to be able to buy assets and to hold assets and to own assets. So right now we may be managing, let's say 300 properties, but the goal 10, 20 years from now would be to own 200 properties, inshallah. But that takes time. So you should aspire to own, but you may not be able to start like that unless you come from a very wealthy family, which I don't. But inshallah, I hope to be able to build the wealth for the next generations, so they don't have to worry about these things, inshallah. They can worry about how to really maximize their purpose of life, instead of worrying about money, mortgages, loans, and this finance and that finance, and where am I going to live, how am I going to afford university. I don't want them to worry about any of that. I want them to focus on the true purpose of life. Brother Muhammad on Instagram, am I allowed to apply for student maintenance loan from university? There are several shuyukh who have given a fatwa that it is okay, a maintenance loan is okay. My personal view is different, but you should do your own research and get a proper answer from someone who's qualified, like a mufti. Right. I'm trying to find questions. Which dua will be best for the startup? One of the best du'as that has helped me when I was at zero, and many times in my life I've been at zero, sometimes minus as well, is the dua of Musa alayhi salam when he had to leave Egypt after the incident, and he was basically completely destitute. He was in a different place, different location, different land, no belongings, no money, no wealth, nobody knows him. And he said a dua after which his life changed. Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin faqir. Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin faqir. Oh Allah, I am in need of any goodness that you send to me. I am desperate, I am destitute. Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin faqir. That dua, you want to read it and feel it every day. When you are at a place where you feel like I'm starting from zero. And inshallah, Allah will open the doors and open the opportunities and open the gates for you, inshallah. Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin faqir. You can Google it, dua of Musa alayhi salam, and Rabbi inni lima anzalta. If you just type in that, it will come up. And you can print it, screenshot it, memorize it. Okay, I'm gonna come over to Tasneem on Instagram is asking, I wanted to know how the rent-to-rent model is halal and what evidence for that, because I want to start, but I'm skeptical. The first thing that we need to understand is that everything is halal except for what Allah has mentioned to be haram. So that's the starting point. Everything is halal unless you can prove me otherwise. That is one of the sort of key principles in Sharia. That everything is okay unless it has been specified. So if something's been specified, then you need to tell me what it is. So which part of rent to rent would be halal? You need to tell me which part is haram. There's no riba in it. There's no borrowing. There's no interest. There's no gharar. There's no maisir. So which part of rent to rent is haram? You need to, if you're skeptical, you need to then explain which part of it are you skeptical with. Because with the rent to rent model, which by the way, many billion-dollar companies also use, Hilton do rent to rent, Enterprise car rentals, they do rent to rent. WeWork, the office shared office and co-working giant, they do rent to rent. So which part would be haram? I am taking, let's say I am leasing a building from the owner for $5,000 a month, and then I am subletting the small offices to smaller businesses, and I make a margin. I may make $7,000 a month from doing that. Which part of this is haram? MashaAllah, MashaAllah, a lot of wonderful comments. Let me come to Instagram yet. Fabio is asking, have you done your final webinar yet? Yes, I did. It was yesterday, alhamdulillah. Let me see. Remo on TikTok is asking, how can I become a millionaire from starting with £1,000? This is, well, most people will tell you you're dreaming, mate. Remo, you're dreaming. I will tell you it's possible. You need to invest that £1,000 in yourself, meaning you need to use that money to start some kind of business. And that's the business that over 5, 10, 15 years of hard work can make you into a millionaire. There's no get rich quick. You want to turn 1,000 into a million? You can. It'll take you 10 years, but you can. Okay, I'm looking at TikTok now to see what we have. Any questions here? How do you get a HMO license for a 3-bed house in Essex? You just need to look at your local borough. So I'm not sure where in Essex. I live in Essex. My local borough is Redbridge, and the Redbridge borough website has very specific guidance on how to get the HMO license. So you have to just follow that guidance. Okay, mashallah. Let me see. Let me come to YouTube now. What's the best way to track your business income and inventory? Well, business income, you can use, there's like different softwares and stuff. You can use a normal spreadsheet. You can use your bank statements. You can use softwares such as Zero and QuickBooks. But when it comes to inventory, I'm not sure, because we don't do any physical products. So I'm not sure what to advise there. So I'm just going to stay quiet. Mashallah, we got a nice question on YouTube from Muhammad Razin. How do you find direction to work on in digital world? Because we have a lot of options to become a content creator. There's e-commerce, there's blogging, affiliate marketing. There's so many options. And this is the blessing and the curse of the world we live in. There's so many ways to make money, and that's what makes it so confusing. So you need to go through a process, Brother Muhammad, of firstly map out all of the different ways that you think it would be possible for someone like you to make a full-time income in this in today's digital world. All right. Once you've mapped it all out, you need to ask yourself a few questions. Which one requires the most amount of effort, which one requires the most amount of money, which one requires the most amount of skill, and you can start cutting those out and start filtering through. Another question you want to ask yourself is, which one will I be really good at? Maybe you're a natural born content creator, so do that. Forget about e-commerce. Maybe you're very shy in front of the camera, so content creation is not a good idea for you. So then forget that and focus on something else. You need to go through a filtering process, and then come to a list of 5 to 3 ideas. And then I want you to spend 6 months trying them. Try them and see how it goes. You may try one thing and realize it's much harder than I realized. It's too competitive. It's too difficult. Scrap it. You might try another one and realize, you know what? I love this. I enjoy doing this. I look forward to doing this. And I can see myself growing this. Fantastic. Stick with that. So you must go through a proper process of filtering, inshallah. Someone on LinkedIn is asking, which are the most important 3 skills to focus on for someone interested in starting an online business? Oh, that's a good question. Now, Alhamdulillah, I have several ventures online and offline, and they do require slightly different skill sets. The are the same, the attitude is the same, but the skill sets, I would say, slightly different. So, in the online world, the first skill you want to have is understanding how the online world works. Do you know what SEO is? Do you know what a CPM is? Do you know what a click through rate is? So, first and foremost, you need to educate yourself on the online world. So, have the necessary knowledge. Then it depends on what kind of online business you're doing, right? If your online business involves coaching, then your top skills needs to be coaching and teaching. If you're doing on e-commerce, then your top skill needs to be the ability to market a product online. If your online business is generating income through AdSense from your content, then your top skill will be creating content. Like right now, I'm in the process of working with a mentor to master the game, the Instagram game. I've started it, I've done okay with it. I'm over 80,000 followers from zero. But what I'm doing is not going to get me to 1 million followers. So I have a mentor who has 1.4 million followers, and he's teaching me everything he knows. I realized that to achieve this goal, I need to learn this skill. So that's what I'm investing in. So you need to first set the destination and the goal, then you will be able to see what skills you need. And at the moment, your interest in starting an online business is not a goal. It's too broad. You need to narrow that down. That my goal is to have a successful e-commerce brand. Okay, fantastic. What do I need to learn? What skills do I need to have? Because an online business is too broad. Mashallah, brother Ali Akbar is asking, I have a spare part shop, and beside it, I have a workshop in the automotive sector, I believe. How do I improve and how do I deal with laziness? I think laziness happens when we are comfortable and when we lack goals. So let's assume that from your shop, you're earning 5,000 pounds or dollars a month. My challenge to you would be, why can't you get that to 10? Why can't you get that to 15? What would your life look like if you were making 50,000 a month instead of 5? And does that goal excite you? Imagine what you could do for your family, what you could do for the community, what you could do for the ummah. Does that excite you? If it does excite you, all the laziness will be gone. You're going to jump out of bed every day thinking, how can I grow my business? How can I make more money? I want to make more so I can give more. I want to make more so I can do more. I want to make more so I can experience more. And if that doesn't excite you, then I don't know what to say. Maybe the problem is in the fact that maybe you're not excited by the business. You need to have an exciting vision. Your goal and ambition is to be very, very big. I have been in situations where I have lost the excitement for a business and I moved on. I wasn't excited about it anymore. I didn't feel like growing it. I didn't just stay there for the rest of my life. I moved on and built something else. And that something else was more fun, was more enjoyable, and was much, much, much bigger. That's what I'm doing right now, by the way. I am recalibrating myself to work on a much bigger vision and a much bigger mission. For the last 3 years, my mission was to help as many Muslims in the UK to become financially independent through halal property strategies. I've done that, alhamdulillah. I've done my bit. We've made many people financially independent. The community is currently earning more than £600,000 a year in halal rental income. Alhamdulillah. I now want to do something much bigger. And that's why I'm moving towards helping all kinds of entrepreneurs, not just in property. I want to help existing entrepreneurs go from 5K to 50K a month, and then from 50K a month to 500K a month. Because it's a process. It's a process. Alhamdulillah, we are currently close to 1 million a month. It's revenue. That is not all income and profit. It's revenue, but that is something that a lot of businesses can achieve. They just don't know how to, or they need a bit of guidance. And I've been obsessed with learning, with mentoring, and I have coaches, and I'm doing programs all the time, and I'm constantly absorbing, learning, implement. Learn, absorb, implement. Learn, absorb, implement. And that's what's taken me from 0 to 1 million a month in 5 years. And imagine what's possible for the next 5 years. But you need to be hungry. There has to be a hunger. There has to be a thirst, a drive, a burning desire. Otherwise, you can just relax. You can just relax. Brother Abdul Subhan on LinkedIn, would you say that digital marketing for property agents is something that is dead and no big need, especially with property industry? I have a team that does digital marketing, but I want to focus on property. Only what would you advise? Okay. We have never done any digital marketing for our property business. Never. We don't even have an Instagram account. Property, depending on which type of client you're working with, a lot of it is relationships. So if you want to specialize in the property industry, and you want to focus on property, it says as genre, I'm not sure what that means. You should speak to some property owners, some property business owners, and ask them, do you need any help? What kind of help do you need? Where are you getting your leads from? Where are you getting, there may be some that need it, like those who do buying and selling, real estate, estate agency, flipping. They may need your help, but you can't just guess. You need to go and speak to them. A lot of the property industry runs on relationships, but there may be some who still need your help. But I would focus on a hungry market. What is a market that is hungry for leads, hungry for digital marketing? That's how you choose the niche. You don't choose a niche that sounds good to you. You choose a niche that is hungry. Very, very hungry. That's how you make money. Okay, mashallah. I will have to wrap up shortly. I have a meeting with one of my teachers now. Brother Abdulaziz, love your videos. Thank you so much, Brother Abdulaziz. Really means a lot because we put a lot of effort into them. Mashallah, it's very nice to hear the compliments. Okay, mashallah. Someone is asking me, okay, final question. Someone's asking me about husband and wife relationship. I will not comment on that because this is a live stream about business, money, wealth, and all that is the topic. Mashallah, I'm just searching. Final one from a brother on LinkedIn. Thank you for sharing your tips. Any tips on the scaling from one employee to more and getting more projects? I am in the first stage of business. The first stage of business, you're basically doing absolutely everything, and you will reach a point where you're gonna struggle to do everything. And at that stage, what you need to be doing is make a list of all of the low value tasks that are taking up your time, and then find someone, hire someone to do those tasks. Because only 20% of your tasks are bringing in the revenue. You need to focus on that. Everything else, someone else should be doing. So that is a useful exercise, that what are the 80% of things that I'm doing that are not bringing in any revenue and that are low value tasks, like designing templates, responding to emails, doing calculations. There's a lot of things that someone else could easily do if you train them. So without knowing what business you're in, it's a bit difficult for me to give you the context. But yeah, that's what I would say. Do that as an exercise and bring someone else in as soon as possible. As soon as possible, you want to delegate all the low value, non-income generating tasks. All right. My brothers and sisters, barakallah fikum. I got to go now. I am late for a meeting. I would love to sit and speak with you guys all day. Unfortunately, it is a Sunday. You guys also have things to do. Inshallah, look forward to seeing you next week. Next week, I should be coming live, inshallah, 11 a.m. Until then, I hope you have found benefit in today's session. And I certainly got some fun, brilliant questions. And I feel privileged to be in a position where I can give you a little bit of tips, a little bit of guidance to help you gain a better direction and maybe save you a lot of time and energy learning the hard way. Subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. I will see you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.